This is Ryan from RTR, and we've got a brand new tech setup this year for Kansas City Region Rallycross. And so you know what's going on and you're informed, and we move things along quickly. We wanted to show you how it works today. Go ahead and pop your hood and pop your trunk, please. Now what we're going to be looking for is we want to see the trunk free and clear of any and all objects, and we want to make sure the passenger compartment is free of all objects, because if any of that stuff comes flying around and gets underneath your gas pedal or your brake pedal, it makes a very dangerous situation.
I might have some stuff back there, so we'll have to take a look.
All objects, large and small, will have to be removed from your vehicle. Anything that isn't bolted down to the vehicle is at risk for coming up and hitting you in the head or sliding under your feet and blocking your path to the pedals or the pedals travel in general. So take your time, be very thorough, make sure that everything is out of your trunk or hatch area, check underneath the guard for the spare tire well, make sure there's nothing loose in there. Get into your back seat area, make sure there's no more loose items back there like mini hammers. Then we're moving on to the front where we're taking out all the things that we could have brought to help us on the day, and the floor mats, because the floor mats can similarly block that travel of the pedal.
So now that we have finally all the loose items out of the car, the next thing that I'm going to do is check a few things on the inside. The seat belt needs to be able to lock up when you slam on the brakes. You see here it moves nice and evenly, then it locks up. The brake pedal needs to be nice and firm. I will check that with my foot, and this one feels good. And now we're going to go into the hood. Now I'm going to check and see if the battery is tight to the car, which you can see this one, you can move the whole car. It's pretty good. Now, there's a problem right here where there is not a cover over the positive post. There has to be a cover over the positive post. Preferably something rubber, a factory style one, but as long as it's covered, then it passes tech.
There are many different ways to cover your battery terminal. Like Ryan mentioned, you can use the factory terminal covers. Any local auto parts store also sells very basic covers for your terminals, but duct tape will do it.
And then the throttle needs to have a positive return. It needs to spring closed. Pretty much that's it under the engine. I will take a glance here to make sure there's not giant puddles of oil or antifreeze all over the motor. Make sure that we don't have any fire concerns here. This one, it's older, it's got some grease on it. Most of our cars do. This is not a concern for fire or anything like that. This one is A-okay. The next thing I'm going to check is to make sure your wheels are on tight and snug, and I don't feel any movement in them that would cause them to come flying off.
This is also a very simple test just to make sure your wheel bearings and ball joints are up to the challenge ahead.
So next up is going to be the helmet inspection. That's pretty simple. As long as it's free of cracks and doesn't look broken. The main thing I'm going to be looking for is the Snell rating. Anything Snell SA
2005
or newer is good to go.
There's a handy link in the description of this video to help you figure out helmet eligibility.
Also, we need to make sure that we have numbers and class designations on your car. It's very important because if we can't read your numbers and we can't read your class, we can't record your times. So if you want times for when you raced, then make sure your numbers are at least 6 to 8 inches tall and your class designation at least 4 inches tall. If you do have fancy magnetic numbers, that's awesome. If not, then we can provide you with some blue tape, and you can either blue tape the numbers on, or sometimes we even have the numbers printed out that you can just tape them on the side of your car. And also in Rallycross, you need to constantly monitor this, because a lot of times we deal with mud and water and things like that that are very abrasive to numbers. And once again, if we can't see your number, we can't see your class, we're gonna have a hard time recording your time. So here at Kansas City Region Rallycross, we're not trying to make this tech setup now difficult or hard to navigate or that sort of thing. I got giant orange cones, a big orange hat, and I'm not small myself. You should be able to find me. Granted, my legs are invisible. The RTR K Construction 86 will be parked there. I'll be right in front of it, be ready to get you through and make sure your car's good to go. If your car can pass a basic safety inspection, then you are good to go usually for Rallycross. So don't worry about that other stuff. Show up and be ready to race. We also want you to be safe. So please, leave your hammers at home and come out and race with us. You're good to go.
Thank you.